Boy, thank you so much for joining us on a very tough news day here on Fox 4 News at 9.
And we hope you stay here. Clarice is coming up with more Fox 4 News.
Good evening. I'm Clarice Tinsley. At least 104 people have died in the wake of the severe flooding that struck the Texas Hill Country. More than 36 people are still missing tonight as rescue crews continue to search for victims. Residents are now sharing some of their stories of survival from the night the floodwaters rose. Fox 4's David Santandri live tonight in Ingram, just north of Kerrville in Kerr County. David.
Good evening, Clarice. Yeah, today, throughout the day, we have seen rescue crews just searching up and down the Guadalupe River, just sorting through debris and hoping to find anyone who might be missing. As you mentioned, we are in Ingram right now. Earlier today, also Kerrville, talking to people about what they experienced, how close they were to disaster, and of course, what happens next.
I mean, it's traumatizing to think that me and my son could have not even heard any of it.
Michaela Goodrum says an Ingram firefighter rolled through her RV park, warning people to evacuate from flooding Friday morning.
He went through the park telling everybody that we needed to evacuate immediately.
Goodrum and her children living on the Guadalupe River, an area where Texas game wardens and volunteer groups are removing debris while searching for missing people.
My heart goes out to the ones that are lost and the ones that are still missing.
I mean, there's nothing you can say or do to make this feel any better for somebody.
Still, Hunter Poteet, a project manager for a home improvement company in San Marcos, says he could not sit around, instead organizing his crew to assist. At this stage, however, with people still missing, they have to be extra cautious.
I mean, there is bodies still being looked for out there and heavy equipment being ran.
It goes from Hunt all the way down to Canyon Lake.
In a sit-down interview with Fox 4, Kerrville City Manager Dalton Rice says the search area is a 60-mile straight-line distance. Rice says he was running along the river at 3 a.m. the morning of the flood to see if it was safe.
And again, I was a first responder at one point in my life too, so I'm always assessing what's going on. So I deliberately ran that river trail next to the park.
Rice left at 4 a.m., thinking it was fine.
I started getting phone calls about 4:45, 5 o'clock.
Quickly learning it was not fine. Moving forward, Rice says there needs to be something done to change how his city alerts residents. The city does not have evacuation sirens, but he would not specify what needs to change. When asked if Kerrville residents should have been evacuated.
So a lot of these places, it's shelter in place during a flood, go to the high ground and stay there. Because if you get out, especially when you're 45 minutes away from anything, cell service is gone, help is gone, that flood will come in and you won't even see it coming, especially at night when everybody's sleeping because it's a holiday weekend.
Of course, there's ways that this could have been prevented, but we can't blame anybody. The weather is unpredictable. We get flash flood warnings all the time.
Goodrum points to a flash flood warning on Sunday, turning out to be mild. But as for Friday's warning, she's just glad a firefighter told her and neighbors to get away from the river. Had that firefighter not rolled through here?
We'd probably be down the river. We'd for sure be down the river if it weren't for them, because nobody would have known.
No more signs of ground crews in the area that we are at right now in the nighttime evening when it's dark outside, but we did just see a helicopter circling around us, and we see another aircraft over to our right. We know there's a lot of work being done 24 hours a day, not a lot of rest for these hardworking first responders. Clarice.
Indeed. David, this is your second day reporting there. Tell us more of what you've seen of the first responders. You told us about the firefighter who warned Michaela. You showed us Hunter Poteet, who has the heavy equipment there. Tell us more about the volunteers and first responders who are working in the face of sorrow and death and so much destruction to help others.
Yeah, for a lot of them, there really isn't time to process emotions. The emotions are being felt certainly by the residents out here, and they're certainly being felt by the first responders. You rest assured they are feeling the emotions out here, but I think a lot of them are really just putting that aside, compartmentalizing things, and just doing what they can because they know time is of the essence right now. You don't want to think too grim, but it has been a few days since this flooding, and they're just trying to give it all they have right now and be here for the people in Kerr County.
Absolutely. Lots of prayers supporting them, and Really good work from you and photojournalist Sam Hernandez today in our coverage. David Santandri live in Ingram. David, thank you. The damage from that flooding continues far down the river in Kerr County. People in that area are still trying to process the damage as they begin to pick up the pieces of what is left. Fox 4's Alex Boyer spoke with some of those people in Kerrville tonight. Alex.
Hi, Clarice. That's right. We are along the banks of the Guadalupe River here near downtown Kerrville, and we've been moved back a little at the request of the troopers who are patrolling the park along the river. But if you can see there in the distance, I know it's a little dark, that's the volleyball courts here, and you may notice that the inside of those volleyball nets, the netting is completely gone. That shows you just how high the water got, probably a couple hundred yards from the edge of the Guadalupe River, and how fast it was pushing through this area as those floodwaters and the rain came down here on July 4th. And as you mentioned, we have had a chance to talk to several people all afternoon and early evening. Folks are coming down to the river edge here to try to see some of the devastation for themselves.
For us living here, coming and seeing it, it's just a different, it's just different. Just driving across this bridge here, it's heartbreaking. It breaks my heart. It definitely breaks my heart. The community is amazing. We can't even volunteer because there's so many people that have already come together and volunteered that there's no room for the rest of us to volunteer and do anything. So we're just going to be looking to volunteer and any way we can.
Tell me how you're feeling. You know, so many young ladies attended Camp Mystic and some of the other camps here. What do you think when you're seeing all this on social media and you're kind of people your age affected by this?
It's just like when you look at it from social media, it's a lot different than what it actually is. They didn't even know. Like a lot of kids lost their lives because of it. And it's like, I don't know how to explain it. It's just sad.
At least with these littles, they were in a faith-based camp, so I have no reason to believe that they didn't go anywhere else. We know they're with God.
And to that point, a lot of people holding on to their faith tonight. In the meantime, I can tell you that help continues to pour in from all across the area. A 45-member crew is on their way here from Nebraska. And I can also tell you that Florida is sending several crews. And I also spoke with the spokesperson for Texans on a Mission based out of North Texas. They have several crews that hit the road this morning. They anticipate being here tomorrow morning to really get boots on the ground, and they'll be here for the weeks to come. Clarice.
Vital support. Alex Boyer reporting live tonight in Kerrville with photographer Mark Gustafson. Thank you both. So many of you have reached out asking us how you can help those affected by the flooding. Fox 4 has set up a donation site to send money directly to the Kerr County Flood Relief Fund. You can scan the QR code that's on your screen, or you can follow the link to donate. We also have a link on our website, fox4news.com, and on the Fox local app. Stay with Fox 4 for the latest on the Texas flood disaster. We'll continue to bring you the latest on air and online. You can also find the latest information on our website, fox4news.com, and on the Fox local app. Our coverage continues later in this newscast. This video captured in Center Point, Texas, shows just how fast floodwaters rose last week. This was captured downstream from Kerrville. Water quickly rose over the top of the river basin, and overpowered trees caught in the way. Fox 4 Chief Meteorologist Dan Henry is in the Weather Center. Dan, that's just frightening.
Yeah, incredible force there, Clarice. We're talking about water that was moving at 100,000 cubic feet per second, and that led to some unbelievable rises, anywhere from 20 to 30 feet in a matter of 45 minutes to an hour. That was measurements at several flood gauges along the Guadalupe River. Here's a look now at the current situation. We had scattered showers and thunderstorms earlier today all of that has fizzled out. Didn't have any major flooding today, although there were some flash flood warnings northwest of the devastated areas around Kerrville. Kerrville, for the most part, got a break today. There will be some more scattered showers and thunderstorms in the forecast the next couple of afternoons, and then those rain chances will start to pare back as we head towards the end of the week. Current temperatures in the upper 70s to low 80s. We'll see lows in the mid 70s early tomorrow morning. We'll talk more in detail about what has happened over the last few days and look ahead to your 7-day outlook in a few minutes.
All right, Dan, thank you. Federal authorities provided new details about an ambush attack on officers at an immigration detention facility in North Texas. A police officer was shot in the neck outside the detention center in Alvarado Friday. Fox 4's Amelia Jones in studio with the latest tonight. Amelia.
Clarice, the Alvarado police officer who was shot is expected to recover. The Department of Justice says this marks the 5th assault on law enforcement officers in the Northern Texas District this year. Nearly a dozen people are now facing multiple federal charges.
Make no mistake, this was not a so-called peaceful protest. It was indeed an ambush.
Monday, the Department of Justice shared new details on a shooting at the Prairieland Detention Center in Alvarado, south of Fort Worth. Officials say around 10:30 p.m. on July 4th, a group of 10 to 12 people dressed in black military-style clothing shot off fireworks and vandalized the facility.
They engaged in the graffiti, they damaged vehicles and a guard structure. The graffiti had such words as traitor, ice pig, other profanity.
Officials say this was a ruse to draw out the ICE personnel, and it worked. 2 unarmed corrections officers went to speak with the vandals. Meanwhile, the group signaled a gunman nearby. Alvarado police responded to a 911 call at the facility. When the officer got there, he was shot in the neck, and another assailant fired 20 to 30 rounds at the unarmed corrections officers. When the suspects fled the scene, the Johnson County Sheriff's Office stopped a vehicle leaving the detention center.
There was a single driver in that vehicle. The sheriff deputy saw in plain sight a firearm. Another firearm was in the back seat. And there were 2 Kevlar ballistic-style vests also in that vehicle.
According to court documents, this driver told the sheriff deputy he met some people online and took them from Dallas to the detention center to, quote, make some noise. On the detention center property, sheriff deputies stopped 7 individuals near where the Alvarado police officer was shot.
Some were wearing body armor, some were covered in mud, some were armed, and some had 2-way radios on them.
When authorities searched the area, they found more body armor, spray paint, and flyers with anti-ICE messaging.
Over the course of the weekend, additional related searches occurred. We found masks, goggles, tactical gloves. We've won residence of one of the defendants. There was additional body armor. There was a cache of 9 additional weapons, spray paint, fireworks, and again, insurrectionist material.
The Department of Justice charged the 10 suspects with 3 counts of attempted murder of a federal officer and 3 counts of discharging a firearm in relation to a crime of violence. An additional co-conspirator is charged with obstruction of justice and conspiracy for attempting to conceal and destroy evidence in relation to the attack. He faces up to 10 years in prison.
This will not be tolerated. Those who use violence against law enforcement officers will be found and they will be prosecuted with the toughest criminal statutes and penalties that we have available to us.
Court documents show that 9 of the people arrested were from North Texas, Dallas, Fort Worth, Kennedale, and Waxahachie. The other was from College Station. The 10 each face a mandatory prison sentence of up to 10 years to life in prison. Back to you, Clarice.
Amelia, thank you. Next on Fox 4 News at 10, lawmakers are questioning why more people weren't alerted to the deadly flooding that struck the Texas Hill Country. What the governor says he plans to do to change that in the upcoming special session. And former Camp Mystic campers and counselors gathered in North Texas for this vigil tonight. How they prayed for the campers. As the death toll from the flooding climbs, many people are asking how this disaster can be prevented in the future. Fox 4 Stephen Dial reports on the priorities being outlined by the governor and other state lawmakers.
The hill country, known for its rugged terrain, making it one of the most dangerous parts of the state when it comes to flooding. Governor Abbott over the weekend said that he will add this topic to the special session, possibly making lawmakers push for legislation to add sirens in the area. As the search for victims continues in Kerr County, the conversation is shifting to preventative measures.
We have a special session coming up, and the way to respond to like what happened in Kerrville is going to be a topic for the special session to address.
Sunday, Governor Abbott told the media while places like Kerrville deal with flash floods often, no one expected there to be a nearly 30-foot water wall. Abbott has already called lawmakers back to Austin on July 21st for a special session on THC restrictions. But now it appears severe weather alerts will be part of the session as well. With dozens dead, including children from here in North Texas, people are calling on lawmakers to fund some type of new alert system near the Guadalupe River. Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick talked about emergency sirens on Fox News Monday afternoon.
Had we had sirens along this area, up and down, the same type of sirens that they have in Israel when there's an attack coming, that would have blown very loudly, it's possible that would have saved some of these lives.
Kerr County does not have outdoor sirens. Previous efforts to create them failed because of the cost. This past legislative session, House Bill 13, would have created an organization to allocate state funds for things like outdoor sirens. But the bill did not make it out of a Senate committee. Even if it had passed, it would not have taken effect until September.
You're just going to have to come back with old technology that works with new tech to give another shot at getting people's attention in a flash flood area.
I spoke to Harris County State Senator Paul Betancourt Monday. He took to social media saying he wants to file legislation to put sirens in flood-prone areas.
This is just another way to layer in more possibilities of getting people's attention in a natural disaster. Because unfortunately, we're over-reliant on this now because we want it to do everything. But there may be times when people ignore it or they turn it off. So a siren cuts through all that. It goes around this technology and can work with it.
Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick and Senator Betancourt, who you heard from, both say that it will take some time for that infrastructure to be built once lawmakers come to a compromise on some type of preventative measure. The state does have a huge budget surplus, so funding should not be an issue. In Dallas, Stephen Dial, Fox 4 News.
The Texas Hill Country is part of a much broader area here in Texas that has been dubbed for many years Flash Flood Alley. In fact, that goes all the way up into the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Texas leads the nation in flood-related deaths. Going back to 1959, nearly 1,200 fatalities. And that does include the 100-plus, tragically, that we saw late last week. And there are several factors for this. One is urbanization. Obviously, you've got some highly developed areas, Dallas, Fort Worth, the Metroplex, Waco, Austin, San Antonio, and all that concrete and asphalt leads to a lot of runoff. Steep terrain, you'll find that in the Hill Country. The climate favors very heavy thunderstorm activity here with torrential downpours. Of course, we've got shallow soils and very narrow river channels. All of that contributes to the very high threat. This is a look at the Guadalupe River rise at Kerrville. 3:45 in the morning, it's 1.7 feet. Normally, the Guadalupe has only 2 or 3 feet of water in it, and in less than an hour, it rose 22 feet to 24 feet. And then that wall of water continued downstream. And 5 hours later, they saw a 30-foot rise at the small community of Comfort. Just unbelievable rainfall totals here, over 20 inches outside of Marble Falls, 19.5 at Mason, over 13 inches in Kerrville. So this impacted many different counties, the torrential downpours here. We expand the view, and yes, we did see scattered showers and storms today. There were isolated reports of flash flooding, but overall, nothing compared to late last week, and all of this has now fizzled out. What I do want to show you, that we're not the only one experiencing flooding here in the last several days. North Carolina saw the remnants of Chantal drop close to a foot of rain just west of the Raleigh-Durham area here. There were water rescues there and many reports of homes underwater as a result. Scattered storms the next couple of days, a 30% chance both Tuesday and Wednesday, and then we do start to dry things out late this week. 91 was the high today, 74 the low. Currently, we have temperatures around 83 to 84 degrees. 70s in Greenville right now, at 79 at Terrell, 78 Cleburne, and 77 in Bridgeport. So futurecast, we should be dry overnight tonight. There might be a couple of isolated showers and storms tomorrow morning. Then as we heat things up in the afternoon, once again some scattered showers and thunderstorms. A couple of those could pack some gusty winds and certainly some brief heavy downpours. And then another disturbance moving in here with still a lot of moisture in place and heating will give rise to another scattering of showers and storms Wednesday afternoon into Wednesday evening. Beyond Wednesday, the rain chances should be going down. 20% Thursday. Friday and Saturday look dry and hot, mid-90s, and another 20% chance on Sunday.
Dan, thank you. A vigil was held tonight for the victims at Camp Mystic this afternoon on the SMU campus. Camp Mystic families were invited to the Laura Bush Native Texas Park for prayer and ministry. Parents, previous campers, and counselors sang songs they would sing at the camp, and they prayed for the ongoing search and rescue efforts.
I'm Jeff Cole. Coming up tonight on Free For All, the AAC will catch the fever again. I'll explain that. Did Mexico get handed the Gold Cup title over the U.S.? What the coach had to say for the USA. Joe Hoyt is live for Cowboys Say It Ain't So, Joe. We'll play the game. Will Micah Parsons' contract situation turn ugly? Joe weighs in on that and that whole little Super Bowl title drought thing coming up tonight at 10:30.
A Coast Guard swimmer with just months on the job is being credited with saving 165 people in the Texas Hill Country. Petty Officer 3rd Class Scott Ruskin says his crew was searching for survivors when they came across a crowd of kids at Camp Mystic. Ruskin started working to assess the injuries on the ground and stayed with those campers while they were being rescued. In a statement yesterday, DHS Secretary Kristi Noem said this was Ruskin's first rescue mission of his career, and he was the only triage coordinator at the scene. Deepest thanks to him and everyone who was working so hard during this Texas tragedy. Thank you for watching Fox 4 News at 10. Free For All is coming up next.